All right, welcome everybody with me, Valerie Williams of Dimensional Talent Streams. Thank you all for joining today. I do have a special guest I'm excited to have on with us. His name is Bobby Christy. He's a colleague of mine. We've known one another, I want to say, since the early of this year. He is just a wonder, great man to get to know. So I've got him on, and we are going to talk about some exciting stuff today, dropping some gems. So if you're recording this, listening to this, wherever you are, I just want your undivided attention because you don't want to miss a thing today. So, Bobby, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. I'm excited for what we're going to be talking about. So, what is going on? Tell us about Bobby Christie and who he is.
Wow, there is so much going on. I can't believe it. The This week especially, I'm working out at the women's PGA Championship,
Mhm.
and so I am looking forward to being out there, running one of the scoreboards, and getting to know a lot of people. And my pass actually gets me behind the lines, so I'm going to get to kind of mingle with the technical people, the support people, and kind of do things. You know how most people when they go to a tournament, they're just out on the course. I'm going to spend my time that I'm not working behind the scenes, trying to learn a few things. One about technology, and the other thing about how these productions actually really kind of come off, because it takes several thousand volunteers, to pull this tournament off, because it's one of the women's big majors, and I was surprised at one, the number of volunteers, but the other thing that I'm also amazed at is the level of technology that they utilize
Mhm.
to actually pull the production off.
Wow.
And so I want to get a firsthand, up close look at that. So
Nice.
I'm going to be pulling all the tricks out of my hat to try to get into places that I probably shouldn't be, I,
Wow.
but I just want to get to meet some people and really shake some hands and learn some stuff about how they market, and I'll be sharing that with folks probably
Ex-
in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. So where is this tour at? Tell us where it is.
It's at the athletic club here in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Nice. So how did you get involved with that? How did you get to get the skinny on this one?
Well, I'm a member of the Atlanta Sports Council,
Okay.
and so they put out a flyer to all their members saying they need some volunteers out at this country club.
Mhm. Oh, good. Good for you. Excellent. So how is the weather there in Atlanta today?
A little muggy. it's it's not raining, thankfully. The a tropical storm Claudette came through, and we got more than our fair share of rain. So I think everything's going to get pushed out. The front came through, and I think it's going to be really nice here for the rest of the week.
Good, 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 good deal. So how long is this tour lasting for? Is it just for the day or?
No, it's the pro am, and last of the practice rounds is today. It's actually all week, Monday through
Okay.
Sunday, and it will wrap up on Sunday, probably around 6, 7 o'clock.
Okay, nice.
And you can watch it on the Golf Channel and on Peacock, and probably be shown on NBC TV.
Excellent, excellent. Good for you. Well, I wanted to bring you on here to talk about cryptocurrency, which is, I can't even say enough about crypto. But before we get into that, I just kind of wanted to give my viewing audience here at Dimensional Talent Streams just a little bit of an idea about who is Bobby Christie, what's your background, what do you do? We know you're into sports with the golf that you have just discussed. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself to the audience and some of the different things that you're involved in.
The Well, I'm just a normal guy.
Mm.
The Been around a long time. I don't look as old as I am, and I'm very thankful that I have very little gray hair, and not bad for 65, right?
Look marvelous, darling, just
Yeah,
marvelous.
marvelous. The I have been in baseball for literally 60 years.
Wow.
Started playing when I was 5 years old. I was a player, played through college. Became an umpire, umpired for 35 years, and then I became a
Mm,
coach, baseball coach, and coached at literally all levels from T-ball all the way through college, and spent my last 2 years at the college level as a pitching coach for a school in Pennsylvania.
wow.
And loved that. Had spent a lot of time in a lot of different industries. Started in the investment industry after I got out of the Marine Corps, and then did some stuff with franchise restaurants. Then got into the automobile business, and I've had a unique career, and wouldn't trade it for anything. My wife and I have four great kids and eight, soon to be nine grandkids.
Mm. Blessed,
Uh,
blessed, you're a blessed man, blessed man. 8 is a good number. So let's dive right into it. So
Okay.
let's talk about crypto. So I always like to approach my audience kind of with a mixed multitude, meaning that you got those that are very well versed and all the way to those who are, this is new, what are you talking about? So I kind of like to treat my audience like a mixed multitude here. So for
Okay.
those who don't know about crypto, tell us about what crypto is. What is the big buzz? What is the fuss about? You can't pick up a newspaper, a magazine, look at the TV or anything without seeing something about crypto. So what's crypto all about?
Crypto is all about change. The you have it's literally two things in one. One is that it's a technology. It's done on something called the blockchain. Now, the blockchain, think of it like uh, interlocking links, like in a chain link, and that's the technology. And the altcoins, or the kind of currency, is the end result of it, because it's a way that they use. The coin is created when they verify the transactions. And the thing that's really interesting is that in the technology, uh, and I've just got a few notes here. Right now, the blockchain is being used, and it's going to become the major player in credit cards, real estate, energy, e-commerce, electric vehicles, healthcare, voting, and identity theft. And uh, the blockchain is really a ledger. It's a ledger that is totally 100% safe and transparent. And it's the most transparent, most secure, and most cost effective ledger that's ever been created. And it's going to literally change everything.
Yeah,
And
I can't even tell you how excited I am about it because blockchain, it's decentralized. It's kind of like it is for the people, by the people. It's kind of like the new Robin Hood. Not that we're stealing, to give to here, but it's kind of like the new Robin Hood. It's really, that the democracy of currency. So it's for the people, by the people, decentralized. And what I think is so amazing is you really can watch now to see what the major players are doing and follow them like the everyday person. It's not just for the rich. It's not, for those that the lower class, where we have the lower, the middle class, and it's just for the upper class. It's for the everyday person. It's for everybody. And I like how you can watch some of these major players and listen to some of their moves and then get some key indicators as to how you can move, like the Robert Kiyosaki's. Like, from Rich Dad Poor Dad, we all know, Robert Kiyosaki. He's got a newsletter out that you can subscribe to, Rich Daily newsletter that you can subscribe to. And I think within the past week, he's been given some tips about, cryptocurrency, why, some of the major companies that are now moving over to it. We've even heard about El Salvador, who has now switching their economy over. Some of these major Amazon has just made a huge announcement about Bitcoin. You know, you've got PayPal. So a lot of major companies transitioning over to Bitcoin. So we know that this thing is coming and it's here to stay.
That's right. But as I was saying, the driver is the technology, and the technology may in fact become the next internet. But
Oh, yeah.
and so the thing that really is, it's right now the technology in and of itself is the safest way to store and transfer information. And you being in the healthcare industry, imagine being able to use the blockchain, where you could go and look and say you had a particular patient come through the hospital. You could actually go to the blockchain, and once all of their records are on that, what you have is you have their literal medical history in front of you. It's not going to be changeable. So once a diagnosis is made, somebody's not going to be able to go in there and say, well, maybe not, and ignore that, because it's all going to be there.
Right.
That's that interlocking that makes everything so secure and so transparent. So on the other hand, what happens is now we transfer over to the currency part of it. And to me, that's actually the most exciting, because it's really for people who want to maintain privacy. And, imagine being able to eliminate the middleman. You're going to be able to, buy and sell real estate. You're not going to need a realtor. You're not going to need, the title search it's done, because it's going to be on the blockchain. And so, and the blockchain is unchangeable. And so if property A is being transferred to property B, you don't need to pay somebody a couple of $1,000s to confirm that, because if it's already on the blockchain, well, we know that A transferred the property to B.
And that's huge, especially for, like land titles. And when you get into some of these other countries and, any type of issue with titles and who owns what property and all that, that is going to be on the blockchain. So, you have that security. Nobody can tamper with it. It's there. So, yeah, I just totally echo that.
And, imagine, let's say you're traveling overseas
Mm.
and something happens, and you need, say, for example, me to send you money. If I have to send you money, I may have to go to, say, a Western Union or a bank, and I would have to send a wire. Well, you have to send a wire by a certain time, and it's going to take a certain amount of time to get it to you. If you do, say, via credit card, it's going to take time, and there's going to be a lot of fees involved, because you have the exchange in currency, and the bank's going to take its fair share, the 3 or 4%. And on the blockchain, if you have a Bitcoin wallet and I have a Bitcoin wallet, I can send you the money anywhere in the world, and you'll have it in less than 5 minutes.
Yep, instantly.
Bing, and it's there. And we didn't have to do anything to do it. And to me, that's exciting. You know, uh, I am into liberty. I'm into freedom. I'm into privacy. And I like the ability that I can do my transactions without people literally looking over my shoulder and, having to file a form, or having to do this. You know, are there going to be some bad apples in it? Yeah, probably. Because like anything, a bad guy is going to find a way to do bad things. And so, you know, I think it's really the thing. And, when we look at it, right now, it's an exciting time, because Bitcoin's still in its infancy.
Right,
Bitcoin's only been around for, 10, 11 years.
right,
I think Satoshi came out, in 2007 and 2008 with his white
right,
paper, but nobody really understood what it was until recently.
right.
Like, I think I made my first investment in Bitcoin, it was probably 2012 or so.
Mhm.
And it I was just literally trying to figure out what it was. And I only put in a few dollars, but I really wanted to kind of see what it was. Uh, so there's a lot of confusion around it because it's not the normal thing.
Right.
And I've talked about this on some of the other uh, platforms that I've spoken on, and is that it's volatile. I mean, it
Of
is not for
course.
somebody, it is not for somebody with, you know,
Who's low risk? Who wants low
you
risk?
know, if you're thinking, if you're the type that puts money under your pillow to keep it safe, this probably isn't for you
Right. I
because
like,
we're
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
going to see huge swings because these are really birthing pains that as this thing becomes universally accepted. And, just you literally, like you said, let's look at the newspaper. China's cracking down on the miners. And, their initial thing was, well, the reason we're doing that is because of climate change. Uh-uh. China's afraid of losing control
Mhm,
of their people.
mhm.
Bitcoin is a vehicle that will set the people in China free. And so, yes, they're cracking down on it. The Bank of China is pressuring other banks. Uh, they're pressuring the people. One of the provinces is shutting down all the miners. And so you've got a lot of chaos going on over in China. Uh, Look down in El Salvador. They actually made it their reserve currency.
Mhm.
And you're going to have other South American countries make Bitcoin their reserve currency.
Right.
Now, that's going to send the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. I mean, they're going to start doing cartwheels because it's they don't have any control over it,
Exactly.
and they have really nothing to say.
Mhm.
And look at Miami. Miami wants to be the crypto capital of the United States. There was a conference there that I missed, and I'm going to go next year. But they had 50,000 people at this conference in Miami last month, and the mayor of Miami has come out and said that he wants to be the crypto capital of the United States. He's also put in a resolution that he wants to pay the employees of Miami in Bitcoin.
Mhm.
And he's also said that he's willing to accept tax payments in
Wow.
Bitcoin.
Wow.
And I think it's the only city in the United States that the actual Bitcoin white paper is on the city's website.
Ooh, that's huge. Huge. I actually belong to a group where I, learned about, crypto, the blockchain, the currencies and all that. And the platform that I'm on, the guys are talking about some of the behind the scene future stuff with blockchain. Like there's a group of guys and how they want to make the blockchain. And we know this is coming because everything is going to come, banks, that's going to be gone away with, but really just making cryptocurrency like the new Wall Street.
Oh, easily. And
Wall Street.
you look at the big banks. Goldman Sachs didn't want anything to do with it a couple of years ago. They've now put in a crypto department.
Hmm.
Jamie Dimon at Morgan Stanley was really a naysayer about crypto, but yet Morgan Stanley is now a player in crypto because their clients are demanding that they get in there. And there has been a $17 billion investment so far this year by venture capital companies in the crypto space. So they're getting into it in a big way. And I love it.
Yeah, I do too, to see it just gives me an indicator to see, okay, how are folks moving? It's interesting as well. I think of Elon Musk and how he has been such an influencer and driving, the price of some of the currencies. And so I think a lot of players are going to jump in now and try to drive pricing of the currency so they can actually get in and get it at a better price. So it's interesting to see what Elon Musk had done because now I see how other people are going to try to follow suit.
Well, you had mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. He actually basically has said that if Bitcoin gets down to 24,000, he's going to back the truck in. And some people are saying, well, we're headed for a crypto winter. It's going to be a bear market for a while. That might be the case, but it also might be like we're pulling a slingshot back
Mhm.
and it's going to propel it forward because you've got estimates on just Bitcoin that'll range anywhere from 4 or 5 thousand, which is what it was back in 2018, to as much as 100,000 within the next year or so. And but yet you look at the people who I think have unique sensibilities, Kiyosaki being one of them. He's looked at it top to bottom. He's looked at the pros and the cons because he knows that if he says something, he's got a bastion of followers that are
Right,
going to take his advice. And so he's not going to do something kind of spur of the moment.
right,
Elon Musk is totally unpredictable. Uh, what he's done with Dogecoin and Bitcoin, and every time he utters something, the price reacts violently. Well, those are the short-term traders, and I'm not in this for the short term, and I don't think really anybody should try to trade something they can't feel because you're really at the whims of behavioral psychology, and unless you can see that freight train coming, you're going to probably lose.
right, right, right.
But long term, I think that the Bitcoin is great. I've taken a real hard look at Ethereum,
Mhm.
and that actually is a better platform than Bitcoin.
It absolutely is. They said that is like the new oil. That's like the new oil of the crypto world is Ethereum.
And a while back, I did sell all my Bitcoin and I bought Ethereum. And because when I realized that they had taken uh, well, what's the guy's name? Vitaly Buterin. He
Mhm.
really took apart Bitcoin and he looked at it and he said, we can make this a little bit better. And so they did. And that's what these guys are going to do is that you have a starting point, Bitcoin, and then you have a better platform, Ethereum, and that's probably the next big one.
Right, right.
And but in another couple of years, something else is going to come down the pike and it's going to replace Ethereum. We just don't know what that is yet.
Right, right. But it's going to continue to evolve. I mean, it's going to continue to snowball. Let's shift a little bit and talk about, um, because we know that crypto is basically reshaping the whole financial industry right now. So, one of the things with cryptocurrency is just that shared prosperity. So let's shift a little bit and talk about a little bit more about that shared prosperity, like how that can be done. I know we touched on it here and there. For example, with everything, with the security of it, not being able to alter records and so forth. And just with the change, we've been progressing to this slowly, and it's just now coming out because when we think about, okay, in the healthcare world, how long has it been since the shift from paper medical records to actual electronic medical records? Think of how the credit card evolved and the chips in the credit card and all of that. So no longer the paper checks, but to the credit card. So we've been slowly evolving. Who carries cash now? I mean, everybody's carrying plastic now. So you can see that the evolution has been evolving. But let's talk about this shared prosperity and what that actually looks like in cryptocurrency world. How is that done?
The, uh, there's really two things going on in there. The one, you're bringing banking to the unbankable, number one, and because literally anybody can have a crypto wallet. And you don't need a lot of money to get started. You know, this is kind of like owning car parts back 120 years ago. And they're going to have some residual value. If people want to start to save And, they could put part of their savings into things like uh, cryptocurrency. And you don't need a lot to start. And when you look at the exponential growth, that, you could literally take, like 2 years ago, if you would have taken $50 and put it in Ethereum, you'd have almost $1,000 today. And that was just on a run from, where it was at the time to about 20 or, 21, 2200. And that's where we're at with a lot of these. And if people would have I'll call it the self-discipline to save a little, they could put money into this. And if they said to themselves, I'm going to wait 10 years, they're going to have more money than they possibly ever dreamed of.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter literally what country you live in. I mean, this is a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, we could be looking at one of the greatest growth vehicles ever invented. I liken it to being able to buy Microsoft and Apple back in the early 1980s,
Mhm.
and where you only could buy a couple of shares of it.
Right.
One of the problems that you have in the investment community is that we've become short-term thinkers. And in order for the kind of for everybody to participate in this, they're going to have to adopt a new mindset.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be one, we have to save and not spend. But the other thing is we got to believe in ourselves. We got to believe that this is really a transformational event. Because if you look at just the volatility since May, I think there's been $1 trillion lost in the cryptocurrencies since May. So we're going to see volatility. And if people look at the volatility, the ups and the downs, they're going to get scared out of it. I think the first time we ever really experienced that for our generation was in the crash in 1987. And, people, said, well, I was an investor here. Well, having been in the investment industry back in 1987, I mean, just about everybody, me included, I was scared out of my wits.
Mhm.
And a lot of people who were long-term investors became really short-term sellers because they didn't know what the future held. And, for the people that had the wherewithal to weather that storm, they benefited. But way too many people got out ahead of, got out with short-term thinking. You've got to be able to weather the storm. And that means, you might have a 50 or 60% loss. And that doesn't sit well with a
Mhm.
lot of people.
Mhm.
But if you're looking at long term and saying transformational event, well, you just let it ride.
I think that's huge. I'm huge into to mindset. And I love how you mentioned that it's a transformational, mindset event, because you really have to find yourself and determine what your risk level is, how much you're willing to lose versus whether you are in for short-term gains or long-term gains. I know for me, I'm in for the long haul, so I want to, for me, it's about, leaving a legacy, and for family behind me coming. So, I know for me, but you have to know how you want to be positioned. I think another key thing is that there's so much information out there, and you tell me if you identify with this, Bobby, that there's so much information out there now about cryptocurrency, and really learning about who your tribe is, where your tribe is, who you feel comfortable and safe with, and you can glean from to learn cryptocurrency. Because I know there's a lot of intimidation about, if I have to get into buying trading, I've never done that before. I mean, it really is going to stretch us. So I want to just kind of put out there that there are so many resources, but it's finding your tribe and not being scared to look for the information, find the information, and then know where you're comfortable with, like who you're comfortable with in receiving that information so that you can continue to excel and grow and build legacy.
Yes.
So I know I have a couple of resources. One of my mentors, I didn't even intend on getting involved with crypto. I have another mentor, she's been involved in it since, gosh, I want to say probably about, she's going into her 6th year of cryptocurrency. And every time she showed it to me, I was like, not interested, not interested. Well, another one of my mentors said, "Hey, I'm going to be teaching you guys crypto." And I'm like, okay. And so I was forced to learn it. And now, I absolutely love it because it's so decentralized, that the protection, it's for the people, by the people. It's really a game changer. And it's for the everyday person to get in. And I like how we can watch the Robert Kiyosaki's and kind of watch their movement to project, okay, what we need to do and how we need to move. So it really is all about positioning and timing. So talk about how important positioning, timing is, not only the mindset, because you got to have a right mindset to know how to be positioned and to know about timing. But speak to that for a second.
The somebody once asked, I think it was Henry Ford, when the best time to invest was, and he said, when you have the money. And the I kind of took that to heart. I think the way you approach crypto is that it's long term. And like what I do is I take a certain amount of my earnings each month and I put it towards crypto. And so I have a portfolio now. I think it's like 7 or 8 coins, and each month I put a little into one of them. So it's each month I make a systematic investment, and I know that over time, there's going to be some months where I buy less. There's going to be some months where I buy more, but it's the same dollar amount because of just simply the wild fluctuations. I don't ever want to try to time those, because if it is a slingshot, and I'm waiting for a certain point and all of a sudden it goes bing and the slingshot goes off, I'm going to miss a very substantial move. And so I think what you
Right.
have to do is you have to train yourself to put a certain amount of money away each month. Now, I also am an advocate of savings, and you've got to have savings, what I call the rainy day pile, that you keep in the cookie jar at home. That's emergency money. You got to have that on hand, because you can't be thinking that you can't buy crypto with your rent money. And
Right.
because
Right.
that's where people are going to get in trouble. And that's when the government is going to say, the, oh, just lost my train of thought.
We're talking about not spending our rent money to go and buy crypto because
Oh,
otherwise government's gonna come in.
yeah, the government's going to come in and they're going to tap you on the shoulder and say, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And that's the invitation for them to come in and make a mess of things,
Exactly.
because that's what they do. They make a mess of things. And so if people take the right approach and they come in and they systematically buy it a little at a time and they know that it's a long-term mindset, they can make the change. But we're having to teach a lot of people a new habit, because the first thing they're going to do is they're going to see the first acceleration where they can take 50 and make it 1,000. Well, all of a sudden somebody's going to say, I could use that 1,000,
Exactly.
and I'm going to pull it out. Well, what they've just done is they've shot themselves in the foot, because that 100,000, that 1,000 may grow to be 100,000. And that's just one of the things that we have to change the psychology of it.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, so, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
When you talk about research, I have probably in my professional library, I have read probably 15 to 20 books on
Mm,
crypto.
mm.
When I got into it, and I'm kind of this way, when I get into something, I get into it. and I want to know as much about it as is possible.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that made me so convinced, and I don't think I've really ever talked about this publicly, but when I went to college, I went to a small school in Western Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
And through some of the various alumni things, I got to meet this guy and his wife. And they're both alums of the school that I went to.
Okay.
And I know that you've heard the name Winklevoss,
Mhm.
Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, the twins.
Absolutely.
And I basically went to college with their mother and dad.
Oh, wow.
And when I learned that, when I learned who those two kids were, it was easy to say, okay, I get this. Mom and dad, I know. The boys, I'm going to keep my eye on them because they're smart.
Right.
And I was an early investor in Facebook because that's where the Winklevoss, I mean, the Winklevoss twins really started Facebook
Mm,
and they lost control of it.
mhm.
But kind of funny things have a way of coming around.
Right.
Their next little adventure after Facebook was Bitcoin. And each of the boys is now a multi-billionaire
I love it.
because that was like the karma, the thing coming around the corner.
Yes, Bobby.
And and the twins own a company called Gemini, and it's
Mhm.
actually an exchange.
Gemini. Yep. Very familiar with Gemini.
And they're doing it the right way.
They are.
And I would encourage people to learn about those two boys. And you can keep them in your sights because they're in the news a lot. And if you follow in their footprint, you're going to make money.
Mhm.
And, they're building an exchange, they're building a way that the average person can have an account that is secure. You're not going to have, two different computers with different wallets and the old fashioned way. You can still do that, but, through an exchange where you can have an account, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
And, Coinbase is another. I have an account at
Yep.
Coinbase.
I got Coinbase. Yeah.
And
It's a reputable.
you've got Kraken and a few others that
Mhm.
are really excellent reputations. And I don't think you have a lot of risk in those companies being solid and solidly backed.
Right.
You can run into trouble if you go, through some fly by night operations, and there will be those. But I think if you stick to the mainstream and some of the pioneers as they've, grown, things like Gemini, Kraken, Coinbase, you've got a place where you can make some solid investments. And, for example, Coinbase just added several new coins that they're now allowing trading in.
Mhm.
And, I'm taking a look at those to see, the viability of those, because one of the things that a major exchange is going to do, it's going to keep you out of the rubbish.
Right.
Because, I mean, there's thousands of altcoins
Right.
and nobody knows which ones are going to be successful. But, once certain ones get to be sized and they're traded on a major exchange, I think you've got some sort of ability to kind of control the outcome.
Right. 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 And I just want to echo how important it is for viewers, listeners listening, watching this, how important it is to get the education. We perish for lack of knowledge. So, in education on what cryptocurrency is, because if you sit on this thing, you're going to just be so far behind, so far behind. So, get in and get the education now. Research, see questions, get books, videos. There's YouTube. We're mentioning some reputable names here. I know I'm on a platform called Hyperfund. I do Binance as my exchange. CoinZoom, we mentioned Kraken. Like, look these things up and get education, because it's through the education that our mindsets are actually going to be shifted. Our paradigm is going to be shifted. That intimidation, the fear, the confusion, the overwhelmment, as we get educated, all of that begins to get pushed down. Now, I mean, things are going to change and further develop, but we won't be so intimidated and be blown to the wind every time somebody is trying to manipulate the cost of these coins, because we'll have some education behind us. We'll have resources and folks that we can glean to and use as indicators to watch and see what's being said and done. So I cannot stress enough. I mean, because I am being so indoctrinated. I mean, it's like having a Series 6 and a Series 7 license. So, but I actually love it, because I mean, I have no choice. We have no choice but to learn it, because it is the new wave of the internet. It is, future, we're talking the new stock exchange, and which is huge. We're not going to be able to get around it. If you don't own Bitcoin, it's going to get to the point where you'll have to go to the banks and change and get and borrow Bitcoin just to be able to do what you need to do. So it's going to continue to increase and expound and continue to evolve. So I can't echo enough about the education on it. Not. Okay, so Bobby, another question. Let's talk about revenue streams. Another thing I'm big into is the multiple income stream generation. So for folks who haven't gotten it yet, and what crypto is, how it's affecting us, reputable resources, Bobby just mentioned some of the things he's doing. I just mentioned how I've got Hyperfund, and I make a deposit once a month. I let it sit and grow, and I'm basically on mine, the whole thing is compound interest. It's just building interest, like it's 3xing. I put like $1,000 in and leave it and let it sit. And over a period of time, that thing is just like tripling. And so I'm just letting it sit there. And I've opened up a couple of accounts through this platform called Hyperfund and just made different deposits and let it just, blow up. Now I'm trying to learn about trading crypto and learning all about Dogecoin and Ethereum and some of these other coins that are coming out. And there's some new coins that are coming out. And like Bobby said, we don't know how they're going to do, but just to have the knowledge and understanding about these coins that are coming out, how you can trade with those, buy and sell and all that. But let's talk about how this, we use a platform, Bobby and I call the TW3 platform for our businesses. And one of the pillars of TW3 is lead generation and multiple income stream generation. And so, since we're on the topic of cryptocurrency, let's shift and talk about how crypto can be a multiple income stream.
Yes, I am still learning about this.
We
So
all
it's
are.
so
Nobody
it
is. All are.
well, I mean, for the added revenue stream, this has actually been really interesting, because since I put the crypto thing on my website, it has been the most actively engaged page on my entire website.
Hmm.
And so as a person who is involved in referral marketing or affiliate marketing, what I have done is I went out to all of the major exchanges, and they have affiliate programs that you can sign up and become a member of.
Go,
And
Bobby. Talk about it. Talk about it.
and so once you get approved, you can then market under their direction, because they give you the guidelines as to what you can and can't do. And on my website, I have various links. And if you click those links, for example, like with Coinbase, you click the Coinbase picture and link on my website, and it will take you to a Coinbase page. Now, if you sign up and become a Coinbase client, I get paid. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so I have several exchanges that can refer people. And there's also various products that are going onto my website as I get approval. For example, I have an Amazon affiliate account.
Mhm.
And so I put books. I actually have a library page on my website. And these are the books that I am reading. And each week, I don't know if you know this or not, but each week on my website and through Facebook and LinkedIn, I have what I call the book of the week.
Love
And, uh, obviously, the You Are Worth More book
absolutely.
was was the one. And so I basically put up a picture of the book and I put a little blurb there, and I let Amazon do most of the writing of the blurb, and then I hook it all up as a link. And so I put it in my blog, I put it on Facebook, I put it on LinkedIn, and then I also put it in my library. And so one of the things that was really neat, I got a check recently from Amazon.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it's because people had clicked on the links. And so I am also doing that with, I'm going to have a little crypto library section that I'm currently building. It's not
Excellent.
live yet, but I'm actually building it, that I'll have all the books that are in my crypto library. You'll be able to see the picture. If you want to be able to buy the book, you can click it and you can go to either Amazon or Books a Million and buy the book.
Excellent. You heard it first here on Dimensional Talent Streams. Okay, this is why people need to plug in, because that was off the cuff. Okay, so you've heard how we are creating these additional income streams and what we're actually doing. So give us the name of your website. I'll put up a link, or even type it in the chat, and I'll copy that and I'll put that when I repost this video, and I'll put that in the chat. But what is your website link? Because we all want to know reputable. I think the biggest thing is knowing reputable places that we can go to be educated. That's one of the biggest fears, is where can you go? We know there's a lot of information, but we're being so bombarded, like reputable.
My primary website is tw3-marketing.com,
Okay.
but I have
And then just type it in the chat, Bobby, and then I'll cut and paste that, and I'll put this up when I send out this
okay.
video. Yeah, because I really find that people need to know, where can I go? But that is excellent. So income streams, and with the TW3 platform that we use for our businesses, that is one of the things that's instilled in the platform, is the affiliate marketing. And so you can pick and choose these affiliate marketing links, tailor them to your interests around your business, your expertise, and create that additional stream. And within that affiliate are different crypto offers that you can promote these crypto affiliate links and create that additional stream. The other thing is, with the various platforms that are within the crypto world, like there's one that I'm a part of, and it's interesting that he said that, because I'm actually testing out a platform now called the Hyper Fund. And you go and you can put down as little as $300 to get started. You put it in, you open it up an account, you let it sit for a certain amount of days, and watch that thing triple its income. And you can open up as many memberships on this hyperfund platform. And like I said, you can get in from 300, 500,000, 1,500, 2,000, up 5,000, 10,000, whatever. But I think it's phenomenal that they're making it so everybody can get in and starting off where you can get off at 300. But not only can you earn through the dividends, but you can begin to promote that as an affiliate link, bring people in that you care about, that you love, and get them into the hyperfund as well. And you can make another additional stream. So not only with you building with dividends, the compound interest per se, but also with people that you get to come on board and also take advantage of the platform. So two streams in one, and I'm testing that out as we speak. I'm going to do exactly as Bobby mentioned, and add that to my website, because that's a whole part of what I do, is share about these multiple income streams and lead generation. So excellent. I'm so excited about that. I think that's an excellent idea with the books.
And
And a
the
lot of these platforms, I will add, a lot of these platforms, like for example, Hyperfund, they have nothing but educational videos on there. Like, and it breaks it down like the cryptocurrency world, like the lingo, the terminology, because it's a whole new language. So they talk about what is blockchain, what exactly is crypto, what is Bitcoin, what is Ethereum, what are these keys. They talk about the cryptocurrency mining. They give you the history of the whole cryptocurrency world, how it works. They give you a walkthrough, all the way from how to finance an account, get a membership out. And so a lot of these platforms as well have educational videos that you can watch as well.
I just sent you my
Perfect.
website. I actually created a distinct URL, and it's called crazyaboutcrypto.net.
I remember that. I remember that when that teaching on crypto. So how else can we plug into you if viewers want to reach you? How else can viewers get a hold of you? Uh, We've got your website here, and what else? Crazy About Crypto. Any other places people can find you? Your podcast, sir?
Oh, yes. That would be on tw3radio.com. That would be Coach C's Inside Pitch, live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
Give us that again. We can find you on podcast where?
It's Coach C's Inside Pitch on tw3radio.com, 7 o'clock every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right. And what do you discuss there, Coach Bob?
The what I talk about there is I talk about everything. And primarily what I like talking about are the skills that people learn and I learned and taught on the field that have transferred over to business.
Mm,
Uh, my next show is going to be on self-sabotage
mm,
and on self-limiting behaviors, because as an athlete, everything that you learn on the athletic field is something that is a learned experience, but it's also transferable. And one of the things that baseball is that it's the great equalizer.
mm.
The game at some point passes everybody, and when your playing days are over, you have to be able to do something else
Right,
because you can't play forever.
right.
And so I never really saw myself as a coach. I saw myself as a teacher. And my primary goal was to help young boys become young men. And then when I started to coach the older guys, I was helping young men become young adults
Mm,
and getting them ready to transition into the world after college. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that when I was coaching at the college level, 100% of the kids graduated with a degree.
ooh.
And when they left college, they all had jobs or were going to medical school or law school.
Mm, mm. That's phenomenal.
And that's when you know you did something right,
Right.
because we got them ready to be successful. And two of the guys that I coached actually own a company called Samcart. And Samcart is one of the biggest, and it's probably the best shopping cart out there.
Mm,
The Moran brothers have done an incredible job
wow.
building this online platform. And I mean, I'm tickled to death for them
Yeah.
because they got it. And, they learned, and they were able to take what they learned from the baseball field into the corporate world.
Mm,
And
that's beautiful.
I mean, I love talking to the kids and going back and saying, hey, you're now a doctor. I mean, one of my catchers is now an orthopedic surgeon, and it's like, wow.
So you should
And
be racking up on the medical benefits and some of the legal benefits from some of your former students there.
and I mean, I'm really happy for them because I did my job.
Yeah,
And, that's all we can do as coaches and mentors and life coaches. It's not about us. We weren't put here to be served. We were put here to serve. And, if you can help somebody take it to the next level, I mean, hey, that's, to me, one of the greatest things. And really being able to now be in the TW3 network, I can't say enough about what Terry's taught me. And, really about giving and giving back and, meeting people like you. And, I wouldn't have had that opportunity had I not been a member of TW3.
absolutely. It's why you and I are here having this conversation today. It truly is. The owner of TW3, Terry Wilson 3, Terry Wilson, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation today if truly it were not for him. He has truly, and if you guys do not know what TW3 is, you will have to visit crazyaboutcrypto.net and Bobby's other website, as well as my website, YouTube station, Dimensional Talent Streams, also on radio and all of the other major platforms. Bobby, I want to thank you so much for being a guest and joining us here today. I cannot just tell you just the wisdom that it just exudes through you, just the compassion, just all heart, the heartfelt, the heart is just what I feel. I mean, I'm literally just getting weepy right now with like this with another one of our colleagues from the TW3 platform, but just your wisdom that is exuded right now, just the love, the wealth of knowledge and the wisdom. I just cannot say enough. I just bow. Give us some last minute nuggets that you can leave us here with at Dimensional Talent Streams.
Last minute nuggets. Wow.
It can be anything.
I'll use Zig Ziglar because he's one of my favorites. And that is, you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want.
Awesome, awesome. And if you guys are listening, audience, viewers, if you're wanting more information about, well, what is this TW3 platform? You're talking multiple income streams. You done talked about crypto. You are just going to have to visit Bobby's website again, crazyaboutcrypto.net. And again, me here, Valerie Williams at Dimensional Talent Streams. Bobby, thank you so much for gracing our presence. I look forward to seeing and hearing you tonight
Yes.
for our elite masterminds. But thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you have contributed to society, to the world, to the men, to the boys. You are truly a gift to us all. So thank you for blessing us with your presence today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Bobby, stay red. Don't go anywhere, Bobby. I'm going to cut the recording off. Thank you, everybody. This is Valerie at Dimensional Talent Streams. See you next week for another broadcast.